There we go. I'm leaving this meeting. Dahil lumipat lang ako kasi, I need to reply to my boss.
Oh.
Multitasking, ha? Multitasking. Kailangan maging adaptive.
So, sir, kumbaga, you might also be concerned kasi kumbaga, you're full-time dyan sa business, gym, and don't know kung kailan malilift yung quarantine. Ang daming, for the business aspect, sa financial aspect, wala ding revenues na pumapasok.
Yes. So, yeah, maraming, syempre lahat ng mga small to medium enterprises, medyo, ngayon, on our toes, kasi nga, tawag mo dyan, makaramihan maikli ang PC. Yan. So, sa amin, buti na lang, lang naman, ang full-time staff talaga namin is isa lang. So, nako-continue naman namin yung salary. And then, yun nga, as a gym naman, medyo minimal nga naman ng yun lang naman talaga yung talagang pinaka-overhead namin na hindi nawala ngayon. So, okay.
That's and of course, the challenge is to start looking at how do you adapt, right?
Yes. So, yun nga, yung sa online, yung sa ngayon, parang nga siyang pa naman siya, dahil libre kami sa rent, ganyan, nakakapag-provide din kami ng free na online training, pero medyo napapag-usapan na nga, yun nga, parang do we soon enough shift to paid classes na online, ganun. Yung ibang, yun nga, yung mga personal trainers, marami sa kanila nag-shift na talaga to personal training na online. So, naman siya, sa concern. Pero syempre, ang talagang mga mas affected dito, yung at least services, kasi marami, pwede mo siyang i-shift to online. Pero yun nga, yung mga merong goods talaga na nagpo-produce, na hindi essential, yun ang medyo mas natatamaan.
Okay.
So you were mentioning, Anne, that this kind of financial crisis would definitely have effects on the mental health of individuals.
But Anne, before you answer that, let me just welcome everybody watching this live stream. You are tuned in to EMDRCM Live, an outreach activity of the Executive Master in Disaster Risk and Crisis Management of the country's premier graduate school for business and management, the Asian Institute of Management. I am a member of the pioneering class. My name is Wally Panganiban, and with me co-hosting for this episode is the beautiful AJ Villar.
Good evening. Hi, Wally.
And today, as promised, we are joined by AJ's experts, friends who are also experts in their respective fields, who will talk to us about two of the very important things we need to consider, especially while we are in quarantine. So AJ, can you do the honors and tell our viewers, our audience, who our guests are?
All right, so we have two guests. One is on our left is Miss Anne Labayoga Malyari. She is a licensed psychometrician and is now currently working at DepEd. And to our right, the handsome RJ Garcia. He is a gym owner, a CrossFit box owner, and dedicated nutrition and health wellness expert. So I'll let them tell us more about themselves. So ladies first, Jay. So ladies first.
Hi, I'm Anne. I'm a registered psychometrician. Currently, I'm having a master's in social work, and I'm a mother of a 4-month-old baby. So, yon.
And Jay?
Hi, I'm RJ Garcia. I'm a CrossFit level 1 trainer, and I have a CrossFit gym, CrossFit Insurrecto in Quezon City.
And before we go into the more technical aspect of what we're going to be talking about, I'd just like to ask our guest, how are you doing, and RJ?
Okay. Okay. I'm good. Taking care of my baby and my husband while in the quarantine, and also trying some initiatives then to advocate mental health among my friends. It's a very difficult.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a very difficult situation for us. So we understand na everybody has, some stress, anxiety. So that's what we want to address. Hopefully.
Okay. Let's
RJ?
talk about art.
I'm good. We're good. I'm here with my wife. So medyo privileged ako na yung parang I have someone to be with and cope with. And then online, syempre tulad nito, online we're helping with yun ganun nga, like sabi ni Han, yung other people cope also in one way or another. Deal with this as a fitness coach.
Yeah. So RJ, just to clarify, right now your gym is closed and you are doing pro bono work online, helping people cope with health and wellness issues. And just like Anne, also doing hair care to try to alleviate people out there who might be going through some stress. AJ, how are you?
I'm okay.
You're also working from home.
I am working from home. Actually, that's one of the bigger stressors of the enhanced community quarantine right now. It's a little bit tiring because there's a lot of schoolwork and work.
Shout out to AIM.
I end up with an aching back from sitting on the bed for how many hours a day with my eyes trained on the computer. So maybe that's why we're asking the experts here how to cope up, because it's
very good point, AJ. Right. So what you mentioned is actually very true. More true, I guess, today than it has ever been. We at work, we are free to move about. We are focused on everything that we're doing to deliver on our jobs. But now the trouble with juggling, watching the news, watching our kids, attending to all the other stuff that we are occupied with, and practically because you're stuck in front of your computer, you sit the entire day, and that can't be healthy, no? And RJ?
Yes, kumbaga ang parang worst case scenario if you're living at home, single, alone, and you don't have any reason to move. So parang may possible scenario na nasa couch ka lang or nasa kama ka lang the entire day, and the only time you stand up is to eat and go to the bathroom. Diba? Physically and mentally, parang yun talaga worst case.
Yeah, and people are very concerned not only with flattening the curve, but fattening the curve.
Exactly. But I think it's a different scenario than for a mom, speaking as a mother. Kasi parang sa office, you're focused on your work, ganyan. But dahil nga, work from home din ako, ang daming nangyayari. So siguro, bilang nanay din, it's different sa iba, but sa perspective ko, as a mother, parang ikaw yung magluluto, mag-aalaga ka ng anak. So, parang it's another layer of stress then maybe for some moms na nag-work from home.
Okay.
So, it's something we want to look at then, we want to address then kung paano rin sila makakakope since marami silang kailangan gawin.
That's a very interesting thing you're talking about, where we have to balance the mental load. Is that what I don't know if that's scientific word for it, but there's definitely a mental load for a lot of mothers out there. aside from the physical stress that people experience.
Are you saying, AJ, that mothers are more challenged in this particular setup with the quarantine than dads?
I'm not a mother, but I would postulate yes, because they have a lot of more a lot of more activities to look at. When you're at work, you can just focus at work. If for example, Anne, she can just focus at work. But at home, of course, there's the family we have to watch out for.
Sa load naman kasi, sorry. Sa load naman kasi ito yung psychological, ito yung psychological aspect, no? It's also a social concept, di ba?
Right.
So, bilang nandito tayo sa Pilipinas, it's very patriarchal. Multiple burden, then sa mga kababaihan na nasa trabaho na pag-uwi ng bahay, sila pa rin. Yung mga ganyan. So, beyond the psychological aspect, hindi yan kailangan natin tingnan. Paano sila, paano umiikot yung social aspect dun sa role ng mga babae. Sa lipunan, sa bahay, trabaho.
So, Anne, you're saying RJ should focus more on the menfolk because men would oftentimes be left just sitting around watching television or fiddling with their gadgets while the mom cooks.
Well, that's good. Kasi yung husband ko rin, siya rin naman, ka-share siya sa mga gawaing bahay. So, I'm very privileged to have him.
And maybe that's the interesting point, Anne, the sharing of responsibilities.
Exactly.
If we are looking at a quarantine that's going to last more than a month, it's going to be tiring for one person to do all the chores and to, I think, manage also the physical aspect of it. We cannot overburden one person and then eventually make that person more prone to getting infected, right, RJ?
Yes. I've seen, so I'm not a parent, but I've seen quite a few of my friends on social media already starting to fray, for lack of a better word. So it's really very important for people to reassess and look at their everything that they've been doing for themselves, for their family, for their communities, all of these circles that you can influence, and reassess how you're dealing with all of these, everybody.
Well, that's a good point. But in terms of a little bit more concrete steps, maybe Anne can go first and then RJ. But how do we really reassess? What's a good process, or what are our tips you can give in reassessing our daily activities, our mental processes, our social interactions? How do we curate these thoughts to lead to a more focused and healthier mindset?
One, siguro you have to identify, you have to acknowledge that there are things that is within your control and out of your control. So we have this locus of control, di ba? So sa mga out of our control, hindi talaga wala tayong magagawa about it, di ba? It's out of our control. But what we can do is you focus on things that you can control. For example, taking care of your family, proper hygiene, di ba? Para hindi ka mahawa ng COVID or stuff. And yun, take care of your family by cooking healthy food, ganyan.
Yes. Clarification. You say we focus more on the things that are within our control. It doesn't necessarily mean ignoring everything else, no?
Of course. Okay. It's more of putting things into perspective na may mga bagay kahit na anong gawin natin, hindi talaga tayo magagawa about it. But it doesn't mean na you don't speak about it, di ba? Na magiging neutral ka about it.
Okay.
So, talking about other things.
So, good point. So,
Yeah,
go ahead, Sir RJ.
With some of my clients and some of my friends, we talk about budgeting your stress.
Oh.
That's an interesting idea. Okay, how?
Where do you want to spend your mental resources, your emotional resources? Basically, what battles you want? What battles would you want to fight? Diba? Is it worth it? So, just something to think about.
Very interesting. Budgeting your stress. Did you come across the news item about Malaysia telling the population, for especially the wives, not to nag their husbands? It created a lot of backlash because, well, understandably, it's sexist for one, and it also creates a wrong signal. I guess as a family, everybody should carry the burden because it affects all of us. So it's not just a responsibility of the mom or the dad to carry the stress. No? So maybe that core idea of budgeting stress can also be extended towards sharing the stress.
Yes.
Yes.
But just to clarify and put context, I'm not meaning that you should dump all the stress to someone or let go. So I won't be stressed. Let someone handle things. So if most especially with the people you're living with, or maybe your friends, the people in your larger communities, who do you need to take care of? Who needs who you want to focus your resources, your time, to those who really need your help, diba? And who need your attention.
Now, Miss Anne, you're doing this volunteer work online about reaching out and getting people who has issues with mental stress to talk to you, share their problems with you.
Yeah, it's online. Actually, parang it's friends of friends na rin yung nag-message din sa akin. Kaya medyo, it's kind of overwhelming. So what I do, nakipag-partner din, I'm trying to partner with a bigger organization, advocating for mental health, so that, well, ako rin, mapangalagaan ko rin yung mental health ko kasi wala akong debriefing, ganyan, kasi nga mag-isa lang ako. So that's siguro, that's one initiative for my own mental health then to share yung stress sa ibang mga mental health advocates din.
But what are the common sources of stress that you're getting from the people who reach out to you?
Mostly fear talaga. Fear na mahawa because they don't want their family members din na mahawa. So yung iba, actually, karamihan sa kanila, yung mga nanay din talaga yung nasi-stress sa oras na ito. Dahil ayaw nilang mahawa yung anak nila, yung family nila, tapos yung may mga extended family members pa, andyan si Lola, andyan si Lolo, which we know, diba, sila yung mas vulnerable sa COVID. So, yun. Mostly fear talaga. Na napaparanoid daw sila, na baka ako ba, carrier ba ako, ganyan. I usually start the conversation with, ano yung nagpapatrigger? Kasi for us to minimize yung anxiety natin, yung stress natin, you have to identify what are the triggers. Diba? Ano yung nakapag-trigger sa'yo, bakit mo siya nararamdaman? So, one, social media.
Okay.
So, kapag nakakakita raw sila ng mga balita na marami na yung cases, confirmed cases sa atin, na nandiyan na sa lugar nila, diba? Alam na, napapalibutan na kami, baka kami na rin yung kasunod. So I usually suggest na baka try to detoxify din muna from the social media. Kasi though nakakakuha rin tayo ng information, it's very good na you're informed during these times, pero dahil nga may mga stressors din siya na binibigay sa atin, pwedeng may time lang, may konting screen time ka lang for today, and then gawa ka muna ng ibang mga bagay. So,
well, that's actually related to one of the questions of our viewers. We have viewers. This is from Maria Teresa Sardido. Hi, watching here from QC. I don't know if this is healthy, but I can't help worry about the outcome of this enhanced community quarantine. Ever since I've been a news addict, because I start my morning with the news and end up watching the news before I sleep. How do I stay away from anxiety? I can't help but watch the news because I need necessary information, especially on the latest things about COVID. So, of course, there's a balance of necessity. So, how do you balance that, Anne?
Well, ayun nga, mas makikilala mo yung sarili mo as you go along, diba? Na ako, ano ba yung mga sobrang nakapagpa-stress sa akin, for example. Yan nga, napansin ko ba na dahil lagi akong nanonood ng news, mas lalong tumataas yung anxiety level ko, mas lalong ako nasi-stress. So, at least try then to have your own, schedule mo lang, screen time, ganitong oras lang muna ako mag-social media, di ba? It's healthier for you. And then, do other things. For example, ano mga pwede pa natin gawin sa loob ng bahay? Read, perhaps, if wala ka namang ibang, kung hindi ka nagtatrabaho, if hindi ka work from home. So, other things na productive din. Kung hindi man productive, it's okay. Kasi minsan nagiging stressor din yan na, hindi ako productive for today. Baka kailangan ba meron akong gawin? So, okay lang naman na kahit hindi. Something na mag-i-ease yung stress mo, then do it.
I'd like to ask this to RJ. What would be the physical manifestation of a person under stress? And what is the physical impact of somebody going through a lot of stress?
Okay. So, in relation to what we're experiencing now, that would be chronic stress. Because of course, there's acute stress where you're literally faced with a very immediate situation where you're fearing for your life. But the chronic stress actually is a little bit more insidious because oftentimes you will not recognize it changing you. You don't you don't get to realize what's happening. But you can see it in how it affects your mood.
Okay.
It might affect your energy levels throughout the day, your decision making compared to how you were before, maybe even your sleep. In line with that, one recommendation that I can say, and this is for a lot of things, would be to write things down. It can be something as simple as marking very simple things on a calendar, or actually keeping a journal for pretty much anything, either something that you want to maintain or improve in your life, or pretty much just anything in general. I don't know if I'm stepping over a different lane here, but yeah, because doing fitness is just like any other change in your lifestyle. And that entails a bit of mental strength, the ability to be consistent with things. There's apprehension in trying something new, or maybe dealing with something new like this. So writing things down, what you're doing, what the things that you do, the effect on you, your mood, can really help. At least for one thing, it lets you have an outlet to the things that are swirling around in your head, and writing it down on paper, at least in my experience, really helps you clear your head. And then also, writing things down for a span of days or weeks allows you to backtrack and see how things affect you, and then that gives you a clearer picture of what's happening to you, and then how you can change.
Perhaps we'll go back to Sir RJ later on and maybe concretely ask for specific physical activities that can probably break the monotony. Kasi our AJ, from the comment from Marisa, right? It sounds like what most of us are experiencing. It appears that we're trapped, whether we like it or not, either on social media or in the television. Everything is about COVID-19. And however we try to not really focus too much on it. It's everywhere. So when you open the TV, when you turn on the radio, when you check your Facebook, it's everything that people are talking about. So one thing that I picked up from Anne's sharing earlier, try to put your phone down. Turn off every media for a short period of time. Go do something else. Maganda yung recommendation ni Sir RJ. Maybe start writing, or yung sabi ni Ma'am Anna, start reading. There are so many things that we can be doing. And again, it's not about running away from the reality or closing down our heads to information. Information is critical, but again, what we're trying to say, because of the reality of this pandemic, things are going to get worse before they get better, and the numbers are going to continue to increase. And if you get bogged down and stressed by the numbers increasing, well, good luck, because it's going to continue. So that's what we're saying. Now, AJ, this thing about the news also and being bogged down by it. Would you think that nowadays people are starting to filter the things that they get from online sources? Let's say with regards to wellness. Parang right now, because everything is about COVID-19, we forget about all the other stuff. From your think that pick up. If you check your Facebook right now, everything is all about COVID-19. Very few would focus on something else. So maybe part of the challenge would be getting people to start sharing more of the other stuff.
Sorry, is that
It's a free-flowing discussion.
I don't know. Go ahead, RJ. It's fine. Go ahead. No. I think if anything, media, while monitoring on social media, what comes out filters, but more of trend. That's what gets shared because people are spending so much time on social media. They share immediately what's on their news feed. So if a news article pops up on social media, and a person finds it interesting, there's an incredibly fast transfer of information. Now, one of the things that we should watch out for is thinking critically about these information. So that's what we're challenged with, especially what with propaganda going on, with a lot of agendas going on. What we do have to take care of is being alert. Just to quote this favorite doctor of mine, he has a Facebook page. He always says, "Be alert, not anxious." So curating our attitudes towards crisis. So right now, with all of this information, it's easy to panic. It's easy to click and receive a news article saying you should be careful of groceries because that's where most of the spread happens. But if we're going to be critical about it, we have to ask, where did this come from? Is it accurate? Is there data backing this up? Because if not, I'm just going to spread it to my best friend or my mom without really knowing the veracity of the information. And I might be causing more harm than others. So it's important to connect. And adding to the stress of people. Right. So it's important to keep that mindset alert, not anxious. And this is something I want to ask both of our speakers. Maybe you also, Wally. You said earlier, and we're actually seeing it with the news trends, that this is probably gonna get worse. Without being fatalistic, without being a doomsday sayer, how can we prepare but not over prepare for something like this?
Let me
for mental health, physical health.
Let
Maybe.
me try to be more optimistic than fatalistic.
Oh.
The global trend for many countries, they're continuing to increase. Some countries, they have shown a slowdown or a stop in the spread of the infection. Now, but that's one part of the equation. We also have to look at it from the other side. That compared to SARS, Ebola, the other diseases that we have encountered in the past, COVID-19, when it started, the fatality rate is lower than the SARS and Ebola, and people recover from COVID-19. We don't probably get enough information about those that recover, but people do. And I think if you're going to look at the data right now, about 80% get to a better place after a while. Of course, because probably people are being extra cautious, we don't get that information that readily. So what we see are data on the increase of the infection. So when I said that we might be looking at an extended quarantine, or we might be looking at we might be seeing more bad news in the coming days. I'm being pragmatic, but again, setting it up to the point of what you're raising, AJ, knowing that is one thing, and being fixated on it is another. And I will leave it to our experts, Anne and RJ, to let us think about options on how to deal with this reality and not be engrossed or burdened by this.
Maybe Anne, you have any comments on that?
Since nabanggit din kanina yung signs ng stress, na paano nagmamanifest specifically yung stress, to add RJ, yung relationship mo din dun sa family members, yung mga kasama mo sa bahay, na-aapektuhan siya. No? So, with that, pwedeng din natin at ano yung gagawin natin about it is your bond with your family. No? It's important that you have the support system with you. Kung ikaw man ay naka-quarantine sa kwarto mo, maybe use your phone, use your social media to communicate at least, no? Kahit na at least you communicate. Sabi ni RJ kanina, yung pagsusulat, it's very important, no, na identify mo siya, na meron kang word na at least identify, you name it, you acknowledge that it's really happening, that na natatakot ka, you acknowledge it, and then, but you don't dwell on it, no? Doon sa mga hindi mahilig magsulat, no, pwedeng gawin mo yun. You communicate with your friends, diba? Pwede mong process nyo together so that hindi social distancing. Well, iniba na yun. Hindi distancing, it's physical distancing. Yun na yung term ng WHO. But parang hindi natin maramdaman na tayo isolated kasi doon nanggagaling din yung stress most of the time. Feeling natin we're alone, and nakakasip ng anxiety natin. You try to communicate to your friends, trusted friends, hindi yung chika lang yung nararamdaman. But your trusted friends din na you process it together. Kasi pareho lang naman kayo ng pinagdadaan. Nasa isang bansa naman tayo. And yan.
Well, sige RJ, may comment ko doon.
Sorry, what's the question again?
Oh, do you want to add to what Anne was saying? Kasi she referenced a lot of the things that we can start doing, and ako, my takeaway from what she shared, bad, no, that you are feeling anxious, afraid, and probably part of what you were saying here in terms of budgeting your stress and sharing the stress is this: most of us, or those of us who are with family, you have people to support. And I guess it's kumbaga the same for walang kasama sa bahay, because there's always social media that you can reach out to people.
Yeah. Okay. So part of being able to handle this, I would say, don't drop everything. So it's like how we advise maximizing your lifestyle work. So you don't want to make your work your entire. The same thing here. You don't want this situation to take over all facets of your life. So your if you need to make adjustments to your hobbies, your recreation, your own spiritual life, all of the things that you did before this quarantine happened and situation happened to us, I you shouldn't feel like you have to drop everything, because that is not able to support all of the things that you did before, to happy to able to keep doing all of these things, so that you don't lose your basically your sense of self.
Okay, well, circling back to what you were saying about not uprooting your life. Definitely, whole work from home situation people, and like I said earlier, it's not uncommon for people to physical pain when facing the computer, sitting all day. So, RC, do you have any advice or tips on how to keep ourselves physically fit or mobile?
RJ, before you answer that, I'd just like to remind everybody, those who are watching, feel free to send in your questions in the comment section, and we will, our esteemed guests, get to them. If we don't get enough time to answer all of your questions, we will coerce them to answer them through their own Facebook account. So they become friends of yours as well. So keep the questions coming. Okay, so go ahead, RJ.
Okay, so actually, I think that's even more important now. What the advice that we give to spend our 9 to 5ers in the office, maintain an environment what do we mean by that? The worst thing is to be completely sedentary for your physical health. So meaning if you don't have any reason to stand up, walk around, give yourself a reason. Then I was worked in a corporate setting before. I gave myself movement breaks. So anytime I need to go, I drank a lot of water. Anytime we need to go do that, yeah, I do some stretching. So basically, take break, stand up. A lot of us already advice of eye doctors to stand up, look at somewhere far away so that your eyes can rest from looking at the screen, right? So the rest of your body can benefit from something like that as well. So stand up, stretch. If you're sitting, you're in a sitting position, your hips are folded, your shoulders are hunched over. So standing up, stretching your hips, stretching your shoulders once every hour or so, just for 2 minutes, right? Is all can already do a lot to help you maintain a more active lifestyle. So that's one. So and maybe not keeping everything at arm's reach. Keep your just like keeping your keeping a schedule, segmenting things like family time, work time. maybe also physically around the house. Uh, Maintain a place to eat, maintain a specific place to work, a specific place for your recreation, um, so that at least you have a reason to move around the house. For maintaining exercising, just give an anecdote. I know of someone who actually did a marathon inside their house.
Wow.
So really,
Ayun. How did he do that? Treadmill?
he was just jogging around
Jogging in
the
place.
house. No, around his house. AJ, you know him. Si Carlito. Yeah. So,
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
but at the very least, yun nga, yung put in some structures in your daily routine that will require you to move around. Yun. If you're working from home, a lot of us will have meetings like this, Zoom meetings. So let me just show you. Right now, the entire time I've been standing up.
Oh.
So conducting your meetings, walking down the house, or standing up is another easy way to make sure that you don't spend your entire time. And then we see everybody fixing their posture.
Yeah. I'm going to try to do the standing thing, but yeah.
With the standing things, and it's actually a separate piece of advice. There's actually a lot of research in standing desks. It's not. It's something that you work up to. A lot of people. I've seen an organization that did a test study on students, elementary students who, like grade 1. So from kindergarten, they're running around. Grade 1, you suddenly have to stay seated for a good part of the day. So that's when some people say that's when you start seeing symptoms of ADHD. Some kids get to start to have lifestyle diseases. So as an adult, you can still learn how to stand for long periods of time, but you can't do that cold turkey right away. You might get you might shoot yourself in the foot, get back pain or what if your posture isn't good. So try it out, maybe just 1 minute at a time, 2 minutes at a time. Then you can go back sitting down. Basically, in line with what I said in trying to create an environment for yourself where you need to move around. Sit for 20 minutes, then stand for 20 minutes, lie down for another 20 minutes on your back, on your belly, just shifting around your position can do good things. If not for your burning calories or whatnot, at least to keep your joints flexible, because literally putting your joint in just one position for an extended amount of time is what tightens up your joints. And then tight hips, tight shoulders lead to postural issues. Being hunched over with your shoulders elevated is actually a sign of being stressed. So I've read some studies and articles where actually forcing yourself to have good posture affects some sort of feedback loop where you actually become less reactive, less stressed. So yeah, that's a big thing for that I would say. Try to put movement in your daily life aside from exercising regularly.
That makes sense.
It's interesting kasi when it comes to mental health, kailangan din meron tong routine. No? Parang you have to make sure then that you have a routine. For example, mag-set ka ng time, kailan ka mag-work, kailan yung ano mo, free time mo, ganyan. So, it's very important to have this kind of routine so that at least sa isip mo, you have control over these things, no? And, yun nga, kasi nagmamanifest din talaga yung stress physically. So, minsan may mga sakit na lumalabas. That's, I think, psychosomatic, no, na akala natin it's really, meron siyang medical or medical condition underlying, but in reality, it's really because of stress. Sumasakit yung likod natin, sumasakit yung ulo natin, ganyan. It's something that you have to really address dahil kung hindi mo siya i-address right there and then, baka mas lumala yung manifestation.
And just to ask a question, I guess for most part, people are not able to recognize mental issues. So it's very hard to diagnose these things.
Yes.
Baka while we are also, kumbaga, parang live streaming this topic, maybe we can also give those who are watching some hints, tips on what to watch out for. Especially, kumbaga, if we are staying in close quarters with our family members, what are the things that we need to look into, consider, and perhaps, kumbaga, parang these are signs that they are going through something?
One, yung nabanggit ko nga kanina, yung really, you have to observe din yung relationship mo with your family members, no? Kung masyado kang nagiging irritable,
Okay.
hindi naman ganun yung usual attitude mo sa mga tao sa paligid mo. Maybe it's something na may nababother ka sa mga bagay na sa paligid mo, ganyan. And other physical manifestations you have to look out for. Na wala ka namang sakit pero sumasakit yung ulo mo. Na wala ka namang medical condition pero masakit yung likod mo, hindi nawawala, hindi ka nakakatulog. Sleeping is also important din sa mental health, no? Though, disclaimer lang, it's beyond my mandate to diagnose, but these are things na, basic things na pwede mong tingnan din or ma-assess. Pero kung sa tingin mo it's getting worse, I think Philippine Mental Health Association ay meron silang ginagawang project ngayon. Pwede mong i-search sa Facebook yung Philippine Mental Health Association. They do online consultation. Kung hindi ka makakapon, for example, you have existing psychological condition at hindi mo mamimit yung doctor mo, meron silang online consultation na pwede mo gawin. So, yun.
You know what I picked up from all of this talk today? Sleep is important. That's my favorite.
My takeaway is the part about the routine. In my head, because of the quarantine, all the schedules flew out the window. Pero both of our guests mentioned that part. The importance of putting some semblance of structure in what we're doing in order to properly put in the necessary breaks. And I don't know if there's a prescription for maybe an hour or every 2 hours you stand up and you do something. Maybe it's up to you. Maybe you can research online on what would be a workable scenario. But I think that's my biggest takeaway from what Anne and RJ shared with us. Set up the routine that breaks the monotony of you sitting in front of the computer. And then also put in the mechanisms to make sure that you are continuing to touch base with the people that you care about, not only in the house, but also for those who you can reach out to via social media.
And also, AJ, you talk about sleeping, no? Minsan, makikita rin natin yung mga stress na tao ay oversleeping naman. So you have to be careful din kung ikaw ay nag-oversleep na or, 6 to 8 hours is okay. So beyond that, naka-oversleeping na siya.
Well, if I were to yes, RJ, go ahead.
When I talk to my clients, a question I ask them a lot is, how are you when you wake up? Because that's a big indicator of how good your sleep was, no matter if it's 6 hours or 8 hours. Some people do sleep 8 hours, but still they wake up lethargic, or they need to wake up to an alarm and actually snooze the alarm like 5-10 times. that's not a good indicator, right? So it's not just about I'd say it's not just about the quantity of the sleep, the hours, but the quality. In a lot of factors affect the quality of your sleep. Of course, the mental state, your mental state as a person. If you're carrying some issues to the bed, then that might affect how well you're able to rest, right? How well you're eating or not is a big factor also. Whether because some people their bodies keep them awake because they're hungry. That's a physiological reaction of hunger. It keeps you awake to make sure that you have the right nutrients so that when you do sleep, your body has the resources to repair itself. What else? With sleep, also be having bad posture when you're sleeping. Sometimes you wake up with tightness in your shoulders, your back, or pain because your pillow is too big or you're sleeping hunched over. So that's sleep. To me, it's a lot of people say you want to get good sleep, but it's more of an indicator of and it's an effect. Good sleep is an effect of a lot of the other things that you're doing in your lifestyle. But yeah, it's one of the best. I would say, if you choose between with a lot of different things you can improve on in your life, that will make the most effect. I don't know if I can share some links or whatnot, but yeah, the sleep would be the number one thing. In studying lifestyle, I've come across researchers like from the U.S. Navy SEALs, and they say that no matter who you are, you can be the most hardy person out there, but with lack of sleep, everybody breaks, both mentally and physically. So really, that's the most important, one of the most important.
Thank you, RJ. So to sum up our podcast or mini podcast for today, we identified for both mental and physical health that it's important to identify our priorities and act on those priorities at the time. It's important also to develop habits. So it's not a one-time big time thing, but something we can incrementally improve on. We should also capitalize on our support systems, our relationships with the people around us who can help us maintain our habits and who can help us lighten our stressors at the same time. So just a quick answer if both of you have. Do you have any last tips or last messages? Anne first, then RJ.
Well, practical tips siguro, you can practice mindfulness, no? Maraming klase ng mindfulness. You could do like the 5 seconds and then exhale 5 seconds. You focus on your breathing lang din talaga. So that's practical tips, yung mindfulness. So that alert ka, kalmado, ganyan. And last message siguro for our viewers is that 2 things. One is to stay focused. Stay focused on the things that you can control. No? Ulitin ko lang yun, na meron tayong locus of control, and the things that wala tayong control, hindi talaga, it's useless to stress over those things, no? So you stay focused on the things that you can control. Number 2 is you stay connected. Kahit na sinasabi nila na physical distancing and all, but you stay connected to the people around you that you think would really help you to cope and to battle this pandemic, no? Na stay sane then during this time, since it's very difficult to be alone during this time. Diba, AJ?
Yes.
It's difficult. So, yeah, that's two. One, stay focused on the things that you can control, and two, stay connected.
Okay, RJ.
Yeah, we can talk about all of the tips, but basically that's the sort of the overarching recommendation. I'd say take care of yourself so that you can take care of your loved ones and the community at large.
Wow,
Alright.
thank you for those nice words and messages and for the insights, you guys. We will be sending the application form for cohort 2 of the EMDRCM program, and maybe after your graduate studies or after things go back to normal, you can consider being part of this. We need more people from different groups to contribute to the bigger discussion about building a resilience Philippines moving forward. AJ?
Thank you very much. Thank you to our guests for sharing their insights and their expertise in their fields. I'm sure a lot of people have learned so much about all of your little tips, little changes that we have control of. It's within our sphere. And I feel like after this, I'm gonna walk around the house.
Me too.
Agreed.
It would be a shame not to put in practice what we've learned from Anne and RJ. Thank you guys for spending your time and for sharing. And we hope that all of the things that we have shared also resonates with the people that has been listening to us. Those of you who would like to continue to know more about the program and the Institute, you can just check out the Facebook page or check out our website. And also, we are fine-tuning the process. We will continue with the EMDRCM Live, and there will be another announcement about our next topic for next week. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay na.